think it's chance that I happened here at Mortgage Marketing Animals, that's for sure.
Well, I don't think it's by chance you got here either, but I think it's my opinion, and I say this with all sincerity, that the good Lord smiled on me that day. And frankly, all the people that might be listening to a podcast or all of us have a chance to interact with you on the Breakfast Club and all the other places you are, that we're all very blessed and graced to have the opportunity to talk to you. But what I want to talk about today, I had a call the other day, and I was talking with Brian Stevens about this like last week, and is it your problem? Is that your problem, or is that just a symptom of the problem?
Mm. Very easy
And
to confuse the two.
it's very easy to get confused. Like for instance, let's talk about some real world situations where we deal with this all the time. Is like let's say I got smoke in the house. I wake up and I got smokes in my house. Well, that's not the problem, right? The fire is the problem. The smoke is just the symptoms. Or if if I got my roof, I wake up in the morning and there's drip, drip, drip coming down from the roof. A leaky roof isn't, or the water dripping through the ceiling isn't the problem. It looks like it, right? But it's not the
Mhm.
problem, right? The problem is a pipe or the roof or something like that is the shingles. Something that's the problem. The water is just the symptom of it. Or like I got a little piece of paper over here. I got taped to my wall, and it says it's just got a question, engine light question mark. And what that reminds me is that when I'm dealing with a problem, like if you're driving your car and the engine light comes on, the engine light's not the problem. The
Mhm.
engine light is a symptom of the problem. The engine light saying, "Hey, you got a problem over here." Because if the engine light was a problem, I'd just take out the bulb, problem solved. No, no, no. I got to go check under the hood, see why did the engine light come on. So I think in our mortgage business, I have to, often ask myself, is this the problem or is this just a symptom of the problem or is this just the engine light that's warning me? For instance, like let's say you're talking to somebody and they say, "Hey, my leads aren't converting. Like I get leads, but they're not converting." Well, we know that's not the problem. That's a symptom.
Mhm.
So the problem, if my leads aren't converting, maybe it's my source
Mhm.
where I got the leads from. Like I bought the leads from Zillow, just say, where they were running an ad, get a 2% interest rate, and I had all these people opt in, and I've got a junk lead source, right? So, or maybe if my leads aren't converting, maybe it's my script. I'm not using, I'm not using the right script to convert these people. Maybe it's my speed to lead.
Mhm.
We saw that
That's what I was
study.
thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. We saw that study where it said that the average mortgage person, when they get a mortgage lead, the average mortgage person, before they contact that lead, is 47 hours. I still can't get over that number. 47 hours. So maybe it's a speed to lead. Maybe so the follow up. Maybe my offer. I don't have a good offer. And so when leads aren't converting, that's just a symptom of the problem. Or like if I'm got my my pre-proven looking, I got a bunch of those, but they're not turning contracts. What's my problem? So what's some potential problems, Kristen?
They are, but you're just not in front of them to know it. That's one problem.
So follow up, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Just follow up, Or I'm not. I love Jimmy's script on this one. He'll call them up. So let's say you look and you go, no, I'm calling them every Thursday, so my follow up is good.
Okay.
Well, maybe now it's a script issue,
Mhm.
right? Because you pre-approved, they're not buying. It's a script issue, and I love Jimmy's script on this one. He calls them, hey, what did you buy anything over the weekend? Nope. Or did you write an offer over the weekend? Nope. How come? Why not? Find out what the problem is,
Mhm.
and then solve that problem, right?
Yeah.
So because he understands by asking that question, why not? Not buying a house is just a symptom of the problem. The problem is whatever that why not, how come? Why not? Well, we need to sell our first. And we're thinking about what, do we need to do that? Or We're afraid. We don't know how much down payment. We think we need to save more money. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. So, or for like another one, hence started this conversation we're having, which was the conversation I had with a loan officer the other day. Talking to him, he said, "Carl, I don't have enough closings this month. I'm down." And by the way, not just this month, last month and the month before, and next month not looking real good either. And I thought, well, immediately, that's not your problem. So if I don't have enough closings, Kristen, what's my problem?
I'm not talking to enough people. I'm not making enough offers.
Yeah, not prospecting. So that's what I told him. I said, the real problem is identified by looking back. What did your prospecting look like 30 days, 60 days, 90 days ago?
Yeah.
That's the problem, right? And he made a statement. He said, "Well, I keep getting sucked back into my files that I'm working on." Well, that's not the problem either. That's a symptom, right?
Yep.
The problem there is you don't have a great processor or a loan officer assistant, or maybe you don't have one at all. Right? If you're getting sucked back in the files, that's not a loan problem. That's a people problem, or that's a process problem. And so in that case, we either have no team or the wrong team or unclear expectations with the team, right?
Hmm.
That's that's
That's a big one.
that's a big one,
Hmm.
or like, hey, I don't have enough loans. No, it's a symptom. And the problem might be twofold. Number one, maybe I'm not prospecting to my agents or whatever, however you get that. Or maybe I'm not, like if you're not getting loans from your past database, again, that's a symptom. The problem is you're not marketing to your past database. Back to what you're saying, you're not prospecting. And so when I was talking to this guy, he said, "Well, I keep getting sucked back into my files." And I go, "Well, that's not the problem. That's a symptom of the problem. The problem is the people." And he goes, "Yeah, but in his case, what he said, yeah, but my company doesn't offer, they don't offer me enough help." Well, again, that's a symptom of the problem, right? The problem is you haven't talked to them to tell them I need more people, or, frankly, the problem is you might be working in a place that has a different philosophy, perhaps that you do, that the loan officer should be able to process also,
Hmm.
instead of, hey, let's get a processor, pay whatever it costs these days, $500 a file for them to work on. And while they're working on that file, you go get three more loans. And so while you might have had to write a check for $500 to process out of that file, you got another three,
You know what I
right?
was thinking when you said that? I heard you in my head saying, I choose.
Yeah. Talk about that.
I hear you say that in my head a lot. It's not, well, I work at a company that this, that, or the other thing. It's, I choose to work at a company because at the end of the day, it's your choice.
Hey there. Hey, if you're loving the tips so far, be sure to hit that subscribe button right down there and then tap the little bell so that you never miss out on more free, cool tips coming your way. Also, I would love to hear from you. Drop a comment beneath there. Let me know what you think or tell me what you'd like to hear next. Yeah. I tell you where that originally came from.
Or I choose to have a processor that won't do ABC.
Yeah, I
Or
choose to
I
have a
choose,
processor mean as a
yeah.
snake because I was talking to somebody one time where all this boiled down to. I'll never forget that first time that popped in my head. Is I was talking to a guy, I can't remember if it was a guy or girl, a man or a lady, but it was a loan officer. And he goes, "But Carl, you don't understand." I love that. I love it when they start. "But Carl, you don't understand." I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." "But Carl, you don't understand. The processor is my boss's, I can't remember, either wife or husband. I can't remember which it was, but the processor is, so my boss is a lady and the processor is her husband. And so I'm stuck with that processor. Now, see, you've just given all your power to somebody else that you've now made yourself powerless. Whereas if you go, like you just said, I choose to have as a processor the wife, husband of my boss, and frankly, they're not
Mhm.
that great. And when I say I choose, I now have all the power. But
Mhm.
but I think, again, I think it's not until we take a good look at, is the problem I'm looking at, is this the problem or is it the symptom of a problem? And
Yep.
almost always the first thing that pops into my head is not the problem. It's simply another symptom. And I think what we have to do is we have to train ourselves to go further up the river until we go, that's the problem. That's the because it's not until I figure out what the real problem is that I come up with a solution. Because if I go, well, my processor sucks and he or she is married to my branch manager and that's the problem. No, the problem is you've chose to accept that.
Yeah, you got to drill down to root cause for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
And so you just have to go further up the Nile and find out further upstream and find out what is the actual problem and
Mhm.
start solving the problem instead of, just taking care. That's like if I got a fever and I take a couple aspirin, well, that might help me with the fever, but I still got a problem. Like what caused the fever?
Mhm.
Or if I take some Vicks cough drops or whatever, that might stop my cough for a short period of time, but I still got a problem. What's causing the cough? If I have a toothache and I put a little Novocaine on it or whatever they put on teeth, I haven't solved the problem. I've just stopped the pain. The problem's still there. You got to solve the problem because it'll come back up again. So anyway, I don't know if this makes a good topic or not, but I think being able to identify,
Mhm.
what is the real problem? Like when somebody says, "Hey, I'm stuck at my same production level," that's not the problem. That's a symptom. And the real problem, if you're stuck at the same production level, whatever that number is, whether it's zero or one or two or 21, if you're not growing, that's a problem. And if you're not growing while working even less hours, that's a problem because as you close more, a lot of people think when you close more loans, you work more. That's not true because when you close more loans, you now have resources. You got money to to
Scale.
yeah, to get some help.
Mhm.
And so the year that I averaged 52 loans of personal production per month, I didn't work harder that year. I had a good amount of money, to help invest in other people to help me close that many loans. I still went home with more money even after paying the help. But yes, you have to look at the real problem, and usually the real problem is your activities, your habits, your team, or your environment. So it's
Mhm.
activities, habits, team, or environment is usually, and they have not changed enough to produce a different result. And so I can't fix the problem until I actually identify what is the real problem. So that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense. I have my green belt in Six Sigma. I don't know if you knew that.
Wait, you have what now? What?
I have my green belt in Six Sigma,
I don't
which
even know what that.
a lot of people don't know what that is, but
Yeah, yeah,
it's
if you told me, Carl, I have Six Sigma, I go, are you going to be okay?
only the
Yes.
people over 40, 45 would probably know what Six Sigma is, but it's a process improvement workflow. Okay. And what you're describing there, where you drill down to root cause, that's textbook Six Sigma. It's used a lot in manufacturing. But anyway, yeah. If you need help drilling down to root cause, I'm your girl.
Boy, there's no doubt about that. You help me with that often. So, hey, if somebody wants to chat with you about, I'm kind of, I'm
Mm-hmm.
finding myself stagnant. I'm on a plateau. And by the way, if you're on a plateau, it's not because of the market. It's not because of rates. Because somebody in today's market, in any market, some people are going up and some people are staying the same and some people are going down. All those things are all true at the exact same time. And so the problem is never the rates, the problem is never inventory, the problem is never any of that. It's almost always going to be based on your activity and identifying what the actual problem is. So Chris, if somebody wants to talk to you and help drill down on this and map out a plan to close more loans in less time and take you up on that challenge, what's the best way to talk to you?
MMAdemo.com.
MMAdemo.com. Cool.
Yep.
We cover this okay? Did it come
Yeah,
across?
I think that's great.
In my head, this is like a really big deal, and I hope I conveyed it here on the podcast how big of a deal it is.
Well, it is because if we keep taking aspirin to get rid of the headache, we're not identifying what the problem is. We can't get out of that cycle. So sometimes you just need a third party to come in and talk about what it looks like and what you're doing and help you identify what actually is the problem versus the symptom. That's why we go to the doctor.
And it's funny. I find that myself, like when you and I have these conversations sometimes, when I'm sitting there talking with you, sometimes you're just listening and I'm talking, and it starts to kind of become more clear to me
Yeah.
as I'm verbalizing this.
Yeah.
Like if you say, well, Carl, what's your question? I don't even know what my question is. And then we start talking a little bit and I go, oh, so this is my question. And now it's clear to
Light
me because
bulb.
just
Yep.
having a smart person that I can sometimes have confidential conversations with, it's like,
Of
hey,
course.
I feel like I'm a little stuck here. And you talk to so many people, you have a great perspective. So I appreciate you, Kristen.
Oh, I appreciate you too, Carl.
MMAdemo.com. We'll talk to you when you call in.
That's the one.